I know I talk a lot about mindset, and I really think that you can't talk about it enough. Like you can't go deep enough on the subject. You can't explore it far enough to really ever grasp the true importance of mindset and all this stuff that we do. I'll give you guys a good example, or at least to me, what was a good example of mindset. My dad was dying from pancreatic cancer, had been taken to the hospital. They let him know, hey, or let us know, this is it. That's it. The 6 weeks we gave, it's run its course. We were at the end. And his mom was coming out to see him. And my grandmother, she's still alive. She's 102 years old. She flew, which she hates to fly. So she flew out there though to see him, to say goodbye. And she was at the hospital, spent some time with him, and then the doctors made the decision that he could go home to be on hospice because it's it. Now at the hospital, they told us, based on everything they're seeing, probably 24 hours at the most. Like it's going to be quick. We get him home, and just looking at him, I would have thought, like, yeah, he's sick. He was deteriorating fast, but now he seems to be rallying, with the arrival of his mother and his brother, my Uncle Rick. He seems to be kind of rallying. And yeah, I don't see what you guys are seeing. I don't get it. And so took him home, uh, got everything set up at the house. If you guys are familiar, I hope you're not, but if you're familiar with how home hospice works, there's a hospital bed and all the supplies and catheter and just everything. Uh, and it's just pain management. But my dad didn't want the morphine, and he didn't want any of the drugs and stuff. And we had, through sources, um, been able to get some medical or medicinal cannabis like THC oils to help with the anxiety and with his um, appetite and that kind of thing. And so we were doing the best we could to make him comfortable, but he just didn't want it. He wanted to be clear. He wanted his head clear. He wanted to be able to just actually have those moments with his brother and with his mom. Like, okay, it's your shot, Dad. You call it. So we stopped all that stuff, and he went through the next 2 days that my grandmother and my uncle stayed there, beyond the 24 that the doctors were convinced when we got there that's going to be it. Even the hospice nurse, you know, kudos to those guys. I mean, hats off to the hospice nurse. That's a hard job. But they see a lot of death, and they see a lot of patients in the last stages of their life. And the hospice nurse was like, based on some of the things that are happening with his legs and other, I don't know how they assess, but how they assess, she even said, probably by tomorrow morning. And I told her he won't take the medication. He doesn't want any pain relief. He wants to be as clear-headed as possible so that he spends moments with them, lucid. And so she said, okay, I get it. It's his call. So we agreed to just, if it gets bad, have it available, have the morphine and stuff available. But otherwise, this is how he wants to go out. This is how he wants things to be. So they had a visit, visited with my grandmother, visited with my uncle. And then the next day, late in the evening, or late in the afternoon rather, my uncle and my grandmother were set to leave. They had to get to the airport. And so they were leaving. Everybody said their goodbyes. And I'm walking them out to the car. I get them in the car, see them off. They pull out of the driveway. And my brother calls out to me. And I go running inside, and my dad's out. And didn't wake up again. And he passed shortly after that. And to me, my brother and I have talked about this a lot. We're convinced that he willed himself to live long enough to say goodbye to them. Because here's the part I forgot. When he originally ended up in the hospital, the doctors told us, that's it. Like, we're done. It's over. The decline is going to begin. And I called my uncle right away and told him what the doctor said. And he said, all right, well, tell him we'll be there. We're going to be there. And I told my dad, hey, your mom's coming, grandma's coming, and Uncle Rick's going to be here. And that began the rally. And he willed himself to stay in the game long enough to see them, and then willed himself to stay in it long enough to see them, to say goodbye. And then they left. And that, to me, is the greatest mindset lesson I've ever seen. And I've been in fight sports my whole life. I've been around people doing incredible things in ultras and strength sports and all the fight sports, but I've never seen anything like that. So, yeah, that's why mindset is everything. That's why mindset is the primary thing I focus on, because that's what's going to keep you in it. Even when everybody around you, all the professionals, your family, everybody around you is saying, it's okay, it's over. It's okay, man. You still get a vote. And that's where mindset comes in.